You just for a few hours you pay them, and on top of that also you pay a fine. The court will fine you more than the traffic fine that was issued to you, that is issued to you by a police. So most people go through that kind of a situation. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are involved in a minor traffic violation and you feel like you are not at fault, it is up to you to decide whether if you can go and represent yourself in court. Here is what happened to me. I had an accident. That day it was a rainy day. The visibility was poor. I stopped at the traffic light. I was trying to make a left turn. So as the light turned green, as I was making a left turn, so there is this guy. I didn't see this vehicle coming toward me because the visibility was poor, and I saw nobody, no vehicle stop there waiting for a light to turn green. So as I make a left turn, this dude came from nowhere and hit my vehicle in the edge, in the rear, toward the end of my rear, to the rear of my vehicle. So I stopped, and the dude stopped as well. So I came out. Then him and I, we were arguing. He says he told me that it was my fault, and I kept telling him also that it was his fault because the guy was speeding, and that's why he got me. He got me all the way after I passed the intersection. After I passed the intersection, he came and got me. He hit me really hard. So I I called the police. I dialed 911. But we know that here in North America, when you get in trouble or for emergency help with the police or with cops, you call 911. I don't need to explain it to those who are in the Western world. So I think 911 is well known all over the world because people see it on movies, on TV. So it's something not new to people here, everywhere in the world. So, well, the police came. So the police asked me about what happened. I explained to him, and so he issued me a citation saying that I was at fault. He told me if I feel like I am not at fault, I can show up in court or I pay the fine. I was angry. I was furious because I thought I was I was not at fault, because the guy came from nowhere. I knew he was speeding, and I already passed the intersection. As I was turning left, I already passed the intersection. He got me to the end of my vehicle, to the end of my bumper, the rear bumper. So that case, I think it will help us, guys. So in that case, I went to court. I show up in court. I decided that I was not going to hire an attorney because it was going to cost me a lot of money. I said, no, I think I'm going to go and represent myself. For most of you here, it might sound to you that I'm crazy, but this is true. I don't know if there is someone out there who might have represented him or herself in the past. I don't know, but I feel like it is something that I have never heard from any person in our community, South Sudanese community. So what I'm saying here, I'm presenting this to you because that if you feel like you are not at fault and it's just a minor traffic violation, You can go to court and represent yourself if you feel like you can be able to explain. You are able to explain your situation to judge. If you can explain your situation to judge, you don't need to hire a lawyer. You don't need to go and spend a lot of money to hire an attorney. So that's why I'm bringing this to you. Instead of spending a lot of money, thousands of dollars, for a minor traffic violation where you can go by yourself and explain it to judge, you don't need to pay money. That's why I'm bringing this to you, because I have gone through that. And you know, maybe some of you might ask, how did I came up with this idea to go to court and represent myself, something that might not have been heard for in our community? Well, I got the idea from a white guy, a white boy who was my co-worker. So he got involved in well, a police officer cited him for minor traffic violation. So he told me that he said he was going to go to court and represent himself. He said he's not going to hire an attorney. I said, how are you going to do that? He said he heard it before also from somebody else who went to court and represent himself. I was like, oh, okay. I hope it worked out for you. This is what I told him. He said he will try his best. So he went to court. He went to court and defend himself. You know, in this country, when the police that issue you a citation, when you go to court, he or she have to show up in court to defend his position, why he cited you, gave you a ticket or a citation. So he will have to answer to the judge. Or if you hire a lawyer, your lawyer will cross. There will be a cross examination asking the police officer how he came to determine that you are at fault. These are the things that happen. So this guy went to court and he came back. He won. He won in court. The judge, he was able to convince the judge just without an attorney. He came back. He was excited and he told me that you know what? Because you know, white people, they call me Banak. They don't. They pronounce my name that way, Banak. So he came back and told me, Banak, you know what happened? I said, no. He said he won his case in court. So the case was dismissed. I said, how? Wow, that is great. Congratulations. He said, yeah. He went and told the judge everything that happened, and the judge found out that, found him not guilty, and his case was dismissed. So then I got that idea from him. You see how this is how things works, and this everywhere in the world. You learn from somebody. I talked about this yesterday, that we all learn from somebody. You know, you hear something from somebody and you put it into action if it's something that can help you. So we all learn every day. Every day it's a learning. It's a learning. So I got that idea from him because I never thought in the future that I would go to court and represent myself. You see? Because in the past I had few you know, I drive. I have a very good driving record, by the way. But before that accident, so I had some few citation before. But I've never thought that I would go to court and represent myself, because I felt like I was at fault. Because I'm not telling you to go to court when you know that you are at fault. There is no need for that. So what you do is just go pay the fine, you know, to save you time. But if you feel like you are not at fault and it is just a minor traffic violation, I think it would be okay to go and explain your case to judge if you feel like you are not at fault at all. Because that day I felt like I was not at fault. Because if I knew I was at fault, there is no need for me to go to court and skip my work day and go to court. So it would be just a waste of time if you feel like, if you know that you are guilty. But that day, I felt like, no, that was not my fault at all. So I felt like the police officer was wrong. Anyway, back to the topic. So I went to court. So the police officer that cited me came to court. The person that I involved with in the accident came to court as well. The county attorney, a lawyer from the county. It was not a lawyer from the county attorney. That was in the Douglas County. The lawyer came to represent the police officer because anything that happened involving the police or any government official, it is something to do with the with his work related to his job. So they always get represented by the county attorney office. So a lawyer came from the attorney office. So it was just me versus the police, the attorney, the lawyer from the attorney office in Douglas County, and the guy that I involved in the accident with. There were three of them, and it was just me. So the judge came in. So we all rise up. So the judge asked me to raise my hand, and I explained to him. And the police officer was asked. Well, before I was asked, the judge asked because I was the plaintiff, and in that case, I was the plaintiff. Actually, yeah. Well, I was the defendant. I was defending my case, so the government was plaintiff because they gave me the citation. So the judge asked the lawyer for the county. So the lawyer, well, before we went to court, I met the county attorney lawyer, and he approached me with the guy that I involved with an accident. They were together. That was not his attorney, but because he was representing the police as well as the guy that I involved in the accident with. And he came to me, approached me. He says, "Well, you know what? Why don't I give you a choice. You can plead guilty, so we don't have to appear in court. So all you have to do is just go pay a fine." He was trying to settle the case with me out of the courtroom. I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." He said, "Well, you better settle it because when you go in front of the judge is going to fine you a lot of money." Yeah, because I think you are not going to win this case. I said, "Okay, let's go and find out. I'm not gonna give up like that." And he said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, let's meet in court." I told the lawyer, the county lawyer. So we went in the front of a judge. So they explained their side of story. Then I came in. I explained my side of his story. Here's the funny thing. In courtroom, when you don't have any experience, there are some words that you cannot use. I came to the point that when I explained my situation, I said, because this guy hit my car while I already passed the intersection. So he left his lane after I passed the intersection where he's supposed to go. He was coming toward me, but I was already passed. I didn't see him. He hit me toward the end of the rear of my vehicle. So in that case, that proof, I said that word by itself. I said that proof that I was not wrong. He's the one who's wrong. And the judge looked at me and said, "Young man, wait, just wait a minute. Don't say it's proof. There is nothing here to prove." The lawyer told me, because I didn't know. I didn't know that you cannot use that term when the case is being in the process to determine, for the judge to determine who is guilty and who is not. And he told me, "Don't say that. Don't say it's proof. There is nothing to prove here." And he said, "All you need to say is this indicate." I said, "Well, okay, this one indicate." You see, that was something that I learned from court. If the case is still in the process, you don't say it proves. you use the term indicate. I learned that thing that day. So as we went on to explain the case, then as we we all got done presenting our case. So the judge came on to make a decision. The judge told me, young man, my hands are tied, because I was going against 3 people: the attorney, the police, the guy that that I involved in accident with. Well, the funny thing is, I had a chance to question the police. Yeah, and that was the exciting part about it, because here in this country, police officer is, you cannot confront a police officer. They can get you in a big trouble, because that's why a lot of people don't understand that. Don't argue with the police. If they stop you, just comply with them, so that you can go and raise your grievances in court. So in the courtroom, I had a chance to question the judge. So here is the verdict. So the lawyer said, young man, my hands are tied because the evidence are overwhelming. So I'm gonna have to find you guilty. You are guilty in this case, because all the evidences. That's when he used the term proofs, because he determined that I was wrong, and he said all the evidences prove that you are guilty. So I'm gonna fine you. The most funny thing is, the judge said, young man, I'm proud of you. I'm going to fine you $1. When in the ticket it was written, I was supposed to pay $75. If I decided not to show up in court, I can just pay $75 for the citation. So for me going to the court and presenting my case, the judge was convinced. Oh, another thing is, I told the judge that this guy, when I made a turn, there was no vehicle there. So all of a sudden I got hit in the rear, because the guy was going fast. The judge says, yeah, that's the word that I would like to hear. So for that simple word, that the guy was going fast, that's what saved me. The judge was excited because that was simple. Because the guy hit me because he was going fast, but it doesn't matter, because but the turn light was not my turn. Matter of fact, there was no arrow. The light just turned green. As you know, as a driver, if you are making a left turn, so if there is no a left turn arrow, you have to wait for because the vehicle in front of you, they always have the priority when you are making a left turn. If there is an arrow, so you wait for your arrow. If the arrow turned green, so it's your right to pass. So I saw the light was green. I didn't see the vehicle, and the visibility was poor. It was raining that day, so I made my turn. So this guy came and hit me. So the judge heard the word when I said the driver was going fast. He said, yeah, that is the word I like to hear. So anyway, finally the judge found me guilty, and he fined me only $1. I was surprised. And he told me, do you know the reason why I fined you for $1? I said, no. He said, because you did well. You did very well, young man. He said, where are you from? The judge rose up from his bench, and he told me to come to approach him. And he straightened his hand to me, and he shook my hand. And he said, young man, where are you from? You come from which country? I said, from Africa, from South Sudan. He said, wow, you did very well, young man. And you are not a lawyer, but you were able to represent yourself. And you did very well, young man. From South Sudan? Wow. The judge was excited, and he told me that you did very well. Shook my hand. and he fined me for $1. Just $1. Can you imagine? When you go to court, all of you know that when you go to court, you get fined. When you are found guilty, you get fined extra on top of the ticket. So I was only fined $1, and it was supposed to be 3 points on my driving record. The judge gave me only 1 point. You see, I feel like it was a win for me. It was a win because it's first of all, if I hired a lawyer, it would have cost me a lot of money, and I would still be found guilty. It doesn't matter whether I was represented by an attorney or by myself, like I did. The outcome, the end game, would still turn out the same. You know, I felt very excited. I felt like I won because I was fined only $1, and I know that the judge was not. Matter of fact, he listened to me very carefully. He listened to me. He was willing to listen to me, and understand my argument. So, folks, that's the reason why I come to present this thing to you, so that if you encounter this situation and you feel like you feel like you are not at fault, and if it is something minor, traffic violation, this is very minor. It doesn't involve any injury or anything like that, because I was not injured. The other driver was not injured. It was just a normal, although my vehicle in the rear was damaged. But still, I'm not encouraging anybody to go represent him or herself when it is really a violation that is really complicated, if it is a complicated case. My case was very simple. So what I'm saying, that if you feel like you are not at fault, it's easy to go to court and present yourself if you can explain your case to a judge and be able to understand it. But I don't know if you can be. Oh, my connection got. I was disconnected briefly. So anyway, so that's all I would like to share to you people. So if you feel like you're not at fault, you can go to court and present yourself. You don't have to pay a lot of money to an attorney to represent you, and end up losing. So you lose 2 ways. So that's all I want to like to share with you. I hope it's helped somebody out there. But understand, I'm not encouraging anybody to do that thing. But if you feel like you can represent yourself, you can explain your case to a judge for very simple minor traffic accident, or you are cited by a police officer for just simple traffic violation, or making a turn, or speeding. If you feel like you were cited by fault, you can go to court by yourself. You don't need to pay a lawyer. Yeah, like I did, you know. And if you feel like if you think that you are guilty, you are at fault, you don't have to show up to court, because you will lose a lot. So the funny thing is, you know, until today, I feel like I was a winner in that case. So that's why I came to share it with you people, so that it might help somebody out there. Instead of paying a lot of money to an attorney, you can do it by yourself. For just simple, it is allowed, by the way. It is allowed in court to present yourself if you think you can do it. So the reason why the judge asked me where I'm from was because he understood from my accent, because as we the African, without even saying where you're from, they know that you are not born from here in the in the U.S. by understanding from your accent. So they know from your accent that you are from a different country. So the judge realized that I was not I was not born in the United States. I'm somebody who came from a different country. So that's why he asked me where I was from, because he was excited. Anyway, that's all I like to share to you guys. And thank you for tuning in.